Hey there, my name is Julian, and welcome to another episode of Webflow Weekly, where we talk about everything that Webflow and the team has done over the past week, and along with that, we talk about what the community has done, like animations, clonables, and free stuff that you can use done by the Webflow community. First things first, Webflow, and unfortunately, Webflow has not released any new features this week. But that's not to say they haven't been working hard. Actually, I think they've been working harder than ever. If you're a member of the Webflow community, it's probably fresh on your mind that last week, Webflow was down for pretty much the entire week. Now, in my 7 years as a Webflow developer, I have never seen something like that happen, and it was pretty shocking to say the least. So what we're gonna do is dig into it. We're gonna dig into Webflow's communications about it. We're gonna dig into what happened and why it happened. So let's get into that right now. All right, so first things first that I do want to mention about Webflow being down is this does not mean that the hosted sites were down. If you had a site live with Webflow, it didn't go down for a second last week. All that went down was the designer logging in, basically anything that allows you to actually update your site in Webflow. So if you're a small business, you probably don't care. You probably don't need to make updates that soon anyways. But I'm assuming most of the people watching this are Webflow partners, agencies, freelancers, so on and so forth. And that means a lot to you because that means that you cannot do your job. You cannot go in and fix things. So it was unfortunate, and now let's dig into the communication here from Webflow. First things first, we have this blog written by Linda Tong, the CEO of Webflow, just going over some of the things that had happened. So it starts off by saying, this week we experienced a major disruption that affected many of our customers, our partners, and the people who build with Webflow every day. Performance is now back to expected levels. So I'm actually going to raise them one there and say performance is better than expected levels. In the weeks leading up to this outage, a lot of people, including myself, noticed that Webflow was really slow for some reason. But now, after the outage, I have to say it is faster in my opinion than it's ever been. So it seems like they did something right. Thank you to the Webflow team. So what happened here? As it says, on July 28th, Webflow experienced a prolonged performance issue that made it difficult for many people to log in, access the designer, and use key parts of the platform. So like I said, hosted sites were fine, but anything that allows you to, I want to say, use Webflow and edit your site was not fine. So here we have something important. The root cause was a coordinated malicious attack that overwhelmed some of our backend systems. So what that means in simple talk is somebody was intentionally overloading Webflow's systems, which means it's then going to be slower and less usable for me, you, or anyone who really wants to use Webflow. So this isn't just a result of Webflow having a bad product. This is a result of somebody trying to intentionally slow down Webflow. Who is that? Feel free to make conspiracy theories about it in the comments, all in good fun. We don't know who did it, and we probably never will know who did it. So this article goes on to talk about what we got wrong. So again, this isn't something that Webflow just allowed to happen. Somebody attacked them, so to say. That being said, I think any company in a situation like this needs to go over kind of what happened. And I'm really glad Webflow's doing that. So first things first, communication fell short and partners were left without support. So this kind of digs into the last one. So I'm actually going to say we misjudged the disruption. Partners were left without support, and communication fell short in that order because I think at the start of this, perhaps Webflow was looking and saying, oh, well, it's fine, hosted sites are still live, people can't update their sites, but how urgent can that really be? Now, as an ex-Webflow agency owner myself, I know how urgent that can be. And to all of the Webflow partners out there watching this, you probably did not have a very good week last week because of this. And all in good intention, but I think at the beginning, Webflow was kind of thinking, it's fine, hosted sites are live, it's not the end of the world. But there were a lot of businesses out there who run off of being able to use Webflow, and the fact that they weren't able to caused a really big problem. And that's what they mean by they misjudged the disruption. And then when it comes to communication falling short and partners being left without support, it's that I can imagine a lot of Webflow partners had clients saying, when is this going to be live? When is this going to be live? And these partners had nothing to say except for, I don't know, Webflow's down. right? So that makes it pretty difficult. And I agree that Webflow did get that wrong, but I want to give them a pat on the back for acknowledging that and trying to do that better the next time around. So what they're doing is, one, well, they have improved things and performance is back, like we said. And along with that, they're looking to improve communication so that if something like this ever happens again, and we all hope that it won't happen again, that Webflow will be able to support us more as partners in, I guess, communicating this to our clients and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that Webflow is doing that, and I'm sure you all are too. So this is a blog that was written by Linda, the CEO of Webflow. And then we have another blog that was written by Alan, the CTO of Webflow. And this one gets into the technical stuff, and I can go over this just a little bit from my own understanding. I might be wrong about some of these things. If you're a better developer than me or you work at Webflow, let me know in the comments if I'm right or if I'm wrong about this, because I am not an individual who knows what it means when a critical backend database cluster with a dual socket CPU hardware architecture. I don't know what that means. I'm not a hardware guy. I don't know how that works. So anyways, what it seems like happened from my reading of this is the following. It seems like Webflow changed something in their hardware recently before with the intention of actually being able to handle more and stopping these things from happening, but they misjudged it. And after that, people started to, like we said, add additional load onto their systems. And for whatever reason, it couldn't handle it. So when people started sending additional traffic maliciously to the Webflow systems, the new hardware was not able to handle it. And at that point, they were kind of scrambling and figuring out what they're going to do and trying to fix it ASAP and pushing changes live while also hoping to not make the problem any worse and not prolong the outage, not break things like hosted sites, because we all know that's the most important. And so Webflow was just kind of scrambling to fix this thing that they couldn't foresee coming. So, you know, I really feel for all of the engineers at Webflow who were around, probably working very long days trying to fix this and trying to help us all out. And I just want to say thank you to Webflow for doing this, for doing their best. But I am going to agree with Linda's blog post saying that communication fell short for partners. And I'm really glad that they're trying to work on that in the future. So enough about the Webflow outage. Let's now get into the things that the community did while Webflow wasn't down. And there wasn't that much published to the showcase because, well, Webflow wasn't working and you couldn't publish things to the showcase, but there still were some super cool things. So let's get into that right now. First things first, we have pixelated image reveal hover interaction here by Become. And this is the kind of animation that I love because it's the kind of thing you can kind of just add on to any site and it'll look really nice. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. You hover over it, it does these pixels, and then it shows another image. You hover out, does the same thing, goes back to the original image. So let's go ahead and open that in Webflow and see what it looks like. So first of all, it's really cool how I can actually see the custom cursor as I'm hovering over here. That's super cool. So what it looks like we have is a pixelated image card, and it has the image, which is set to absolute. And then we have the grid block, which is an 8x8 grid with all of these squares in it. Now, I'm guessing the interaction, let's go ahead and switch this to interactions with GSAP. Hover interaction, 3 actions, there we go. Pixelate, stagger, reveal, in. So, square item, random, that's very cool. From and to 100%. So wow, that's actually a very easy setup because of GSAP and because of this random. I guess it does it different every time. It kind of looks the same, but I don't know. I guess GSAP decided what random means in that case. But as you can see, this is a very simple animation. You know, to make this with IX2 would not be simple at all. So I'm loving IX3. Seems like the rest of the community is too. This is super cool. Thank you to the Become team for making this. And now I want to move into a template over here. So it's called Eco House Style by Developius. I don't know. Developius, whatever you are, let us know how to say your name in the comments. This is a really nice free template, which you can clone with some beautiful animations, everything scrolling in Very nice site over here, and also a simple site. This is actually a scroll trigger. I don't know if that's done with code. I don't know if that's done with Webflow's new interactions or what that is. We're actually going to check that out in just a second. This is a really, really nice site. I do believe this is a one-pager. Let's go ahead and open it in Webflow and see what we are working with here. And just a reminder, if you want to clone any of these things, you can find them at the link in the description. So this is actually a Lottie over here, which I'm not a huge fan of for just the reason that this is a template and a lot of people are going to be changing it and they're not really going to know how to make a Lottie. That being said, you can put a Lottie in here of your choosing. Looking over here, it looks like this was made in client first, which if you know me and if you've watched these before, you'll know that that makes me happy. That being said, there are a few issues, I would say, with the client first. We have some things like container 5 over here, so I would probably want to go ahead and rename those if I was using it. But a lot of things, most of the site actually, section testimonial, padding global, container large, are good. Now, we do have some div block 24s, so again, I would go ahead and rename those. So at the end of the day, I think this brings up a bigger conversation about class naming in Webflow. As a Webflow expert and someone who's been using Webflow for 7 years, I obviously take my class names very, very seriously. Now, that being said, if you're building a large site for an enterprise or just a business where they're going to need to update their site a lot, it's very important to have class names in good order because you're going to be using it, other developers are going to be using it, the client's going to be using it, and it needs to be a rock solid system for everyone. Now, perhaps this is a hot take. If you're just building a site for yourself and it's a small one-pager like this, who cares? I mean, yeah, it's better to have good class names than to have, div block 26, but at the same time, is it really going to mean all that much to you? No. And I wouldn't advise that you, as maybe just a hobbyist, someone playing around with Webflow, kind of figures out how to make class names perfect, because honestly, if you're not building a huge site, it's not really going to help you that much. So I would say this site, if you're building it for a client and it's going to turn into a bigger site, it's probably not the best clonable to use. But if you just want something that looks good for yourself, I would say go ahead and use this. It is a very nice page at the end of the day. So now let's hop into the next one. What we have here is stacking cards on scroll, and I'm sure everyone's seen a section like this. They're actually quite popular, and it is beautiful. So I'm going to scroll down. Takes us over here. This has smooth scroll. We have a card here, and then all of the other ones stack over it. Oh, it still says scroll down at the bottom, even though I'm all the way at the bottom. They should probably make it say scroll up, but that's neither here nor there. So this is from Zoe Tang. Let's go ahead and open it in Webflow and see exactly how it was done. So Reloom also has a really cool section for this that I have definitely used in the past. And I think this actually is that Reloom section. So I don't know how Reloom's team is going to have to step in here and say if it's allowed to release clonables made with Reloom sections. I don't quite know the licensing issues with that, but this appears based on the layout 353 content item to be a Reloom section. That being said, I'm going to let Reloom speak on that regard, and I'm just going to say that this section looks super nice, and I'm going to analyze how it was built. So we have something over here which appears to be quite tall. And then within that, we have these cards, which are set to sticky. So the first one is set to 20%. Oh, they're all set to 20%. And they have combo classes like content item 2 that okay, so they set the rotation. So this is very simple. This is actually not an animation. It's just simple sticky cards with rotation. And this is the best way to do it. And if this is made by Reloom, it makes sense. Now, I just want to say, if you haven't used Reloom yet, use Reloom. Reloom is one of the coolest things in the entire Webflow ecosystem. Now with their new AI features, it is absurdly good. I want to make another video about Reloom. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. So thank you for this one, Zoe Tang. And now we're going to hop into Berb Plumbing Services here by Mark Hine. Hiney? Not sure. Let me know in the comments. So this looks like a really nice site. Let's go ahead and open it and see what we're working with. So we have a nice little floating nav bar up here with a super nice kind of coming in and out approach. Everything has some nice animations. Very nice scroll effects all around. As we can see, this one here slides in as we're going down. Request offer now. Nice little hover interaction over here. It's a little bit buggy, but again, the thing is you want to use all of these clonables as starting points. You don't just want to use a clonable, change up some words, and then there you go. You want to use it as a starting point to really build your own website. So this one over here by Mark, let's go ahead and open it in Webflow and see what we are working with. So I can see client first over here, which excites me. We have section home hero, section home about, and all of that stuff. And it looks like it is well done client first. As we can see, we got padding hero section small. I'm used to just padding section small, but I guess they made this, and I can see 6 on other pages. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this live again and see if this is a full site. It appears to be a full site, and a really nice looking site at that. So this is a super complete template. As we can see, we have home, sanitary, heating, solar, references, contact, and we got template info with the client first style guide, I would presume. Yep, it does indeed seem to be that. So very nice template over here from Mark. Thank you, Mark. Again, link in the description if you want to go ahead and clone this. The next thing we have over here is from Vanessa. Hold on. Vocal? I don't know how to say that accent. Vanessa, if you're watching this, let us know in the description. And this is using the new GSAP interactions as well. Beautiful page load over there. I'm gonna go ahead and move myself out of the way and then click through so you can see what this looks like. This is a really, really nice section, clonable, or site for a restaurant with a simple menu to showcase the kind of food that you have on offer. Really nice. Let's go ahead and open it in Webflow. You could also just use this as a section on a bigger site for a restaurant, and whoa! Okay, so first things first, client first, happy to see it. And where are the interactions over here? So we have page load GSAP over here. As we can see, this is using IX3, and it is super, super cool. This is a complicated one here. Okay, so what I want to shout out here is this just goes into showing how cool IX3 is and the animations that you can build with it. So if you learn how to use IX3, you can make some insane stuff. Let's go ahead and hit play on the timeline here. See if we can see anything. Yep, okay, so we can see everything sliding into view. Really, really cool animation with IX3. I'm so happy to be seeing all of these really cool animations. To Vanessa over here, awesome animation, love this. I would totally use this. It's a bit complicated, but it's beautiful. So if you need something like this, go ahead, click the link in the description and clone it. And finally, the last thing we have here from Robin Granqvist, and every time Robin makes something, it's always super duper high quality. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open this so we can see what we're working with. It is a section, so minimal sections over here. And as you can see, when you scroll into it, it like hides behind the last one. It's kind of like that scrolling cards section that we had before. And if I go over here, get the blueprint on Gumroad. So this is a minimal interactive layout library for Webflow with over 90 sections and 60 components like this one. Very high quality, $80 is not bad here. So that is super duper cool. This is a really, really nice component library, I have to say. I wonder if they're, okay, preview. Let's go ahead and preview it and see what we're working with here. Beautiful. Beautiful. I would totally buy this and use it for myself or for a client. It's one of those styles that's very bold and modern, but it's not too opinionated. I think this would work for a ton of different businesses. Look at that button interaction. That is absolutely gorgeous. Shout out to Robin Granqvist because this is just awesome. And it's interesting how it's being sold through Gumroad and not the Webflow marketplace. So if you sell Webflow templates, I'm interested to hear if you sell them on your own or if you sell them through the Webflow template marketplace and why you do that. I know that Webflow takes money, obviously, through their template marketplace. They take some commission, but I don't know quite how much they take and how worth it that is. It seems like Robin decided through Gumroad is the way to go. Whatever it is, this is just, I love this button interaction so much. And this whole site, I would use this and I would build all sorts of websites in the same style. I wouldn't even change the colors because it's just such a universal style. This could be a portfolio. This could be used for a SaaS even. This could be used for any sort of fashion or creative business, and I think it would just apply so well. This is awesome. There's going to be a link to the Gumroad over here to purchase the blueprint as well. I think this is beautiful. This is one of probably the nicest Webflow templates that I've seen recently, and along with that, I want to shout out one final time how great of an idea it is to have a paid template and then to use free components like this in the Webflow Showcase to shout about it, to teach people about it, because I never would have found his free template, or sorry, his paid template. But I found this free component because he published it, and then that led me to the paid template. So I assume he's going to get some revenue out of this, and that is super cool. So that concludes it. This week in Webflow, we have no new features. We have a little postmortem on what happened with the Webflow outage, and we have some cool stuff from the community, albeit less than we usually have because Webflow wasn't working. So anyways, thank you for joining this episode of Webflow Weekly, and I will see you in the next one.